Good evening. My name is Jonathan Knox. I'm a candidate for the Master's in Education and Educational Leadership here at the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg. And I'm currently in EDA 6945, the Administration Practicum. I'd like to thank you for taking a few minutes to go over my action research project with me. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see the poster that I would have presented had we been at the gallery walk live. So the name of my action research project is Improving Teaching and Learning of the Integration of Knowledge and Idea Standards. Now these Integration of Knowledge and Idea Standards are standards 7, 8, and 9 of the Language Arts Florida Standards. A little bit of background about my school. I'm currently at a school that is a K-8 public school in Pinellas County. We have about 1,300 students, and of those 1,300, it's a rather homogeneous group racially and ethnically. We have 79% of the students that are white, non-Hispanic, then about 10% of the students being Hispanic, and then less than 5% each of the other racial and ethnic groups. So also related to socioeconomic status, currently only 27% of our students qualify for a free and reduced lunch. There's a lot of community involvement, a lot of parental involvement, and that allows us to do other things that some schools might not be able to do, such as assign a substantial amount of homework. So for this action plan, I wanted to focus in on those integration of knowledge and idea standards, especially in the 7th grade. And the reason for that is because historically, the 7th grade has shown a bit of a dip. So students will go up coming into 6th grade, and then leaving 6th grade, they'll go up a little bit more. But then in the 7th grade, their scores will decrease a bit. And this has been the case for the last 4 years. Now, there are many factors that could be contributing to that. For example, in 6th grade, every student has a language arts class and a reading class. Now, in 7th grade, they all have that language arts class, but they would only have the reading class if they did not pass the FSA in 6th grade. So really, they're receiving half of the instructional minutes in those Florida standards for language arts. So as you can see from this table, the current cohort, 7th graders, when they were in 6th grade, they were given the Florida Standards Assessment for English Language Arts. And on average, 53% of the questions right in standards 7 through 9, integration of knowledge and ideas. Let's contrast that with craft and structure, where 70% of the questions were answered correctly on average. And then in key ideas and details, standards 1 through 3, 65% of the questions were answered correctly on average. So really, the data demonstrate that integration of knowledge and ideas, which is a third of their FSA, was really an area to focus on. So for this action plan, I talked with our 7th grade language arts teachers, and I asked them if they would be willing and able to get on board with an online program called Newsela or Newsela. With Newsela, the students are able to find thousands of articles, and these articles that are informational texts come at 5 different lexile levels. So the student's able to get text that is at their independent or instructional level. And no matter what lexile level they're at, they're all getting the same content and they're being assessed on the same standards. So that's the other cool thing, is that with each article, there is a 4-question quiz. And these quiz questions are exactly aligned to the Common Core standards, or in our case, the Florida standards. So here's an example of an article that you'll see on your screen. And it has a standard 7 question attached to it. And standard 7 is integrating multimedia and text. So there's a picture that students would look at as they read. And then the question is asking them to compare and see what is present in both the picture and the text. It's a classic standard 7 question. And giving them this practice and the instant feedback, whether they get it right or wrong, is very powerful. And so the other very neat thing is that teachers and students have this feedback, this data. It is quantifiable. A lot of times teachers and students don't know where you are on the road to mastery of a standard. So this program really gives you a very easy way to track and monitor your progress to see, all right, do I need to reprioritize or engage in some corrective instruction here? So students would take the quizzes, and in one class we were able to get 3 articles a week on average. Okay, in the other 2 classes we were sitting at about 1.5 to 1 3/4 articles on average a week. And that could be attributable to lack of follow through on homework or just other items they needed to tackle during the school year. So as the teachers and students engaged in the platform online, I met with the 7th grade ELA teachers monthly in a professional learning community, and we discussed both individual student and class-wide data. And we had the discussion of, are our students making progress on here? What might we need to spend more time focusing on, etc. The results that you will see coming up here on the screen were quite interesting. There was actually a very strong positive correlation between the number of quizzes taken and the increase. Right? So if you look at standard 7 here at teacher C, there was an increase of 10 percentage points between the pre-test in September and our post-intervention data here in March at 62%. Unfortunately, there was no post-assessment because Pinellas County went to a digital model of learning due to the current health crisis. And so what I did is I took the last 2 weeks of data from News ELA from when we were in school and used that to generate this end of intervention data. So a 10-point increase here for teacher C in standard 7 compared to a 3 percentage point gain for teacher A and a 3 percentage point gain for teacher B. Really remarkable in standard 8, teacher C students on average increased 66% over their September scores, so 20 points gains here. Teacher B as well, 15 points, and 15 for teacher A. Standard 9 was kind of high to begin with across the board, so we didn't see as many points growth here that you might expect. But still, if I'm looking at 67% proficiency, that is something pretty remarkable. In conclusion, I think that this is something, the program News ELA, that we should really generalize and expand to the whole department, and not just the department, but also throughout the school using cross-curricular articles. And I think that would really generate some remarkable growth, high levels of proficiency, really good gain scores, and the students will become better readers just in general. If I were to implement this plan any differently or to improve on this plan, there is a lot of research out there that shows that when students have choice, that really makes them more engaged and own their learning more. News ELA has thousands of articles, so I would like to investigate, is there any difference between when students pick their own articles versus when the articles are teacher assigned? Okay, I also would like to see the breakdown of, were these articles given mostly in class, or were they given independently without teacher assistance, for example, in class or at home for homework? So those were discussions that we had during our PLCs, but I did not have any hard data on that to compare results. But overall, I'm very pleased with how this project went. I'm excited to see this intervention continue in 8th grade next year, and as well as expanding it throughout the school. And then, of course, seeing those FSA scores go up a lot next year. Thank you for your time. I look forward to viewing your videos as well. I hope that you have a great night.